So today's topic for Coffee Talk is how do your brows look straight after treatment and for the coming days after the treatment is done, so that you can prepare in advance as to how they're going to look and how you are going to manage people's curious gazes. If you were living in America, it'd be a case of, oh honey, have you had some work done? And nobody bats an eyelid. But here in Ireland, I find that people are very curious and they're inclined to be past remarkable or make comments. And so I like to prepare you in advance as to how your eyebrows and your face is going to look right after treatment and the coming days afterwards, so that you can at least manage and be prepared. Most people go to work right away after they've had the work done. They don't care. They definitely go for coffee anyway, and because they're so delighted with them. And then there's the other people who are shy and don't want to draw too much attention to themselves, and don't have a fringe. And I usually sort of tell those people to plan in advance so that they can actually lie low for a couple of days. All right, so just to let you know in advance that anybody who comes to us to have their eyebrows microbladed, a preparation for treatment email is sent out a couple of days in advance, so that you know firstly how to prepare, and secondly to be able to manage your new eyebrows and the healing process over the next couple of days. Now, to be honest, what it really looks like the day that it's done and the following day is that you might have had your eyebrows tinted and we left the tint on for too long. Now, for people who have no eyebrows, having any eyebrow at all can be quite a shock, but for most people it's usually just gaps or aging brows, and they're delighted to get them back. They're wearing their pencil anyway every single day, so it just replaces that. But on day one, the day the treatment is done, and day two, they tend to be way darker than you might like. And oftentimes people kind of think, whoa, this is too much.
At first, I was like, ah! But now that I've had time to absorb it, it's all working out.
Now, that's a reel done by an amazing artist in the States called Cinnamon Girl. And that's exactly what actually happens, is that the day the work is done, irrespective as to what color we use, even the lightest of colors, blondes, we use an ashy blonde color, that they kind of go, whoa, right, that's too dark. This is going to get softer, isn't it? And yes, it is. So this is work that is not on top of the skin, it's actually in the skin. So, and bear in mind, I've done anything between 120 and 180 hair strokes in each eyebrow. So therefore, the work looks very sort of obvious the day that it's done and the day after. And that is when, just before the healing starts, because the new skin needs to grow over these tattoos, and that in turn softens them by a good 30%. So day one and day two are your toughest days if you're shy. We do a no scab heal here at Browtique, and our specific aftercare that we ask you to do on the day the work is done is not only vital, but it is critical to the end result. Therefore, there is no excuse for you to have scabs on your eyebrows. Now, you see horrible scabby brows going around for people who do a dry heal, but we do a wet heal here, and we have found in the last 11 years that has worked the best for the end result. But if you have the type of skin that, despite the instructions that we give you, that you still get a couple of scabs, usually you only just get a little bit of flaking, it looks like brow dandruff in the healing process. But if you are getting scabs, scab pickers, you do not pick off the scabs, because if you do, you take the pigment away with it and you're left with a gap. So the day the work is done, what you see on that day is not the end result. In actual fact, it's a million times away from the end result. So, and it's only step one of a 3-step process. So the work I've done on that day has to heal, and it takes 3 to 5 days to heal. Most people are healed in 3. And the skin underneath takes a good 30 days to heal, but it's the outside skin takes 3 to 5 days to heal. And then it softens. So day one and day two, they are fairly obvious. And they're also a little bit swollen as well. That swelling goes down in 24 hours normally. Day 3 to day 4, they start to soften by 30%. Day 5, day 6 and day 7, they are really beautifully soft at that point, and that's because the new skin has grown over your eyebrows. Week 2, actually, day 14 to day 21, they kind of disappear a bit. And actually, they haven't disappeared at all. And obviously, the pigment is still underneath your skin. It's just that the new skin that's grown over, onto our body is amazing, that has grown over in the healing process, that is usually thick to start with. And then over the next 21 days after that, then it gradually gets thinner and becomes more translucent. So day 7 to day 14, they kind of disappear a bit. You'll be going back to your brow products at that point. Nothing touches the brows between day 1 and day 7. And then day 14 to day 21, you can use your brow products, but you'll find that the work that I've done starts to reappear or re-emerge again through the translucency of the skin. And day 21 to 28 is what the true retention will be. And you will arrive back to us then, usually around 6 to 8 weeks after the initial work was done, so that we can drop more pigment in. So you'll be looking for darker then. So all of our clients get a complimentary aftercare pack and full instructions by leaflet. This isn't it now, but they also get a follow-up email as well to make sure that we support you in the healing process. But everybody gets one of these emotion leaflet, and I usually urge you to stick this on your mirror in the bathroom, because every morning your eyebrows are going to look different, particularly for the first 14 days. So you're kind of going to go day 1, it tells you exactly what to do. Day 2 to 4, day 5 to 7, day 8 to 13, day 14 to 21, and so on. So it actually tells you that, you know, you are going to feel this whole range of emotions, and it is going to be a roller coaster of emotions, and no 2 days are going to be the same. No 2 days are going to be the same, because healing isn't linear. So it's going to be different every single day. So you need to let your family know that what you come home with on the day the work is done is not the end result. In fact, it's only step 1 of a 3-step process. So you need to manage not only your own expectations, but comments from your folks at home. So I would always suggest that you let your family know at home that you're going to come home with these really dark browns, and then they're going to go, oh, they're not as bad as I was expecting. And your work colleagues also, so that you can manage that. Like if you went to the dentist and had braces, would anybody make a comment? Not at all. And you know that, like, and this is no different, you know, you need to actually, you know, go through something in order to get to the end result. And it's the same with braces. I mean, you know, people, you know, go to the dentist, and the end result is worth it, even though you feel very awkward with your braces or your straighteners, or you know, your mouth is, and you look kind of peculiar, and you feel as if there's a box of sweets inside your mouth and you're inclined to be a bit spitty, but nobody makes any comments. So why should they make comments about the process of your eyebrow microblading? But here's the deal. I think if you were living anywhere else other than Ireland, people wouldn't bat an eyelid. They'd say, oh yeah, she's had her eyebrows done. So, you know, she's had her teeth done, she's had her hair cut. But here, I think because this is a process that is, well, it's not new, it's around a long time. I'm doing it 11 years, but I think people are just curious and they want to know more about it. And I think they want to make sure that if they're interested in doing it, that they're following your progress, I think. And that's my feedback anyway, is that people look at others in the office and go, oh my God, what's she done to the brows? And usually it's curiosity, or they're intrigued and they just want to see how the progress is going to go in the healing process, so that they can decide whether it's something that they want to do or not. So it can be hard if you're the first person in your office that has had this kind of work done, or if you're the first of your friends. I usually sort of advise you to tell them in advance that you're having the work done, so that they can support you. And I find it's kind of like you will go a period of regret, and you could kind of think, oh my God, what have I done? And that's only because for people who've had no eyebrows for so long, even putting on pencil would look, fairly dramatic. And bear in mind that even if you had the most amazing brow and that you came to me because you had quite a few gaps and you wanted me to fill it in, even those people kind of go, oh my God, what have I done? This is not the end result, sure, it's not, Olive. This is going to fade, isn't it? Yes, it is. And our email communication will prepare you in advance for that. So, does it mean that you can't go back to work straight after the treatment? Not at all. Nearly everybody goes straight back to work after having the treatment with me. Certainly everybody goes for coffee anyway. But if you are, if you're shy and you don't want to draw too much attention, you don't wear a fringe normally, or if you don't wear glasses and you don't want to draw attention, plan. But even shy ladies have wanted brows for so long that they just celebrate the fact that they're after getting a new brow, and because they've read the information in advance, that they know what to expect and they know how to plan in advance. So I don't work Fridays anymore now, but if you are somebody who wants to sort of put your head down for a couple of days, I would suggest that you look for a Thursday evening booking and take a day off on Friday. You're probably off Saturday, Sunday anyway, and by the time you get back to work on Monday, it's like as if nothing ever happened. People will look at you a bit oddly and they might think, what's she done now? She changed her hair or something. They won't know what it is. And it's kind of like a facelift without going through a facelift. Particularly when we give you a nice arch, or we create a nice space between your eyelid and your eyebrow. It kind of gives you that lovely lift, and it's a youthful appearance. All right, so most people come and they're so excited and they can't wait. So obviously if you go from having no brows to suddenly having a brow, yes, of course there's going to be a period of adjustment. And anybody who's had no brows for so long and did not ever wear a pencil, it's one of the reasons why people come to me is because we have a conservative approach. So you are not going to leave here with brows that are too thick or too dark, because I would go for a lighter colour to start with, and I would go for a thinner brow to start with, because we can always add step 2, and we can always add thickness and we can always add density. And nothing happens. No microblade is even opened until you are happy with the shape. So we will draw on a perspective brow in accordance with their facial morphology, and you then are given 5 minutes to pop over to another station that's over there. While I'm writing my notes, you can make any changes that you like, and once the shape is right, everything else will fall into place. If the shape is wrong, nothing will fall into place. So we do not go ahead until you give us the thumbs up to say that you're happy with the shape, and everything else is changeable. So I hope that helps you. So I think, plan in advance. Is it going to be awful? God, no. I have mine done regularly. Well, I used to have them done every 6 months, but now I have them done once a year. And I'm just so delighted. I find that maybe I might put maybe a little bit more makeup on because they'll be dark, and to make that contrast. I thought I was finished up just after thinking of something. Yes, makeup. So it's one of the questions that people ask me, can I wear makeup? Yes, of course you can. You can wear makeup that very evening that you have the work done. What we request is that when you are wearing your foundation, is that you stop maybe just a couple of millimeters away from the brow. Eye makeup you can use, of course, but when you're cleansing it off, I want to make sure that you don't touch the brow when you're cleaning off your makeup that evening. So yes, you can wear makeup, and it's good to actually have that contrast. It's kind of hard to have a really white face and a very dark healing brow. So yes, you can wear makeup. The only thing we don't ask is that the foundation that you use is not one of those powder mineral foundations, because those little particles will be up in the air and they'll just land down on your healing brow, and infection is something that we do not want. So I have an unblemished record of anybody having an infection, and it's not going to be you if you follow the aftercare as I ask. Alrighty, I got to wrap it up. My client is in the waiting room. I will talk